The Galactic Council chamber erupted in chittering laughter as Ambassador Chen finished her presentation. The holographic display behind her showed images of Earth's mythological figures, Zeus hurling lightning bolts, Thor wielding his hammer, Shiva dancing in cosmic fury. "You expect us to believe," wheezed Counselor Vexed through his respiratory slits, "that these primitive fairy tales are somehow real?" His scaled hide rippled with mirth, causing the other delegates to join, in renewed mockery. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood perfectly still, her diplomatic smile never wavering despite the humiliation. Around her, representatives from a dozen star systems, the Zephyrian Collective, the hive clusters of Andromeda, the silicon-based architects, all shared the same sentiment. Humanity's desperate claim that their mythological deities were actual entities seemed like the ravings of a species facing extinction. "I understand your skepticism," Chen replied calmly, "but I assure you, the Terran mythological defense protocols are not fabrication. Our gods are real and they are coming." The laughter died to snickers. Counselor Brix, a towering insectoid from the Cygnus sector, clicked his mandibles dismissively. "Even if we entertained such nonsense, what could these alleged gods do against the combined might of the Devourers? The Shadow Fleet has consumed 17 systems in the past cycle. Nothing stops them." Chen's expression hardened slightly. Nothing conventional stops them. But humanity has never been conventional. 3 months earlier, the first reports had arrived. A wave of darkness was sweeping across the galaxy's outer rim, consuming everything in its path. The Devourers, entities of pure entropy that fed on matter, energy, and life itself, had emerged from the void between galaxies. Every weapon, every strategy, every alliance had crumbled before them like sandcastles before a tsunami. Humanity, barely a century into galactic civilization, had been written off immediately. Their homeworld lay directly in the Devourers' path, and the Galactic Council had already begun discussing refugee placement for the survivors, if any existed after the feeding. But then the strangest reports began filtering in from Earth. Chen activated another hologram. 3 days ago, our monitoring stations detected massive energy signatures emanating from various locations on Earth. Mount Olympus registered temporal spatial distortions. The Norse regions of Scandinavia showed readings that broke our instruments. Ancient sites across India, Egypt, and the Americas all began resonating with power we've never seen. "Parlor tricks," scoffed Vexeth. "Desperate attempts to appear relevant." "Perhaps," Chen nodded. "But yesterday, our deep space sensors detected the Devourer Vanguard approaching the Sol system. They should have consumed Earth 12 hours ago." The chamber fell silent. "Instead," Chen continued, her voice gaining strength, "we received this transmission." The hologram shifted, showing a view of space near Earth. Where there should have been the roiling darkness of the Devourers, there was light. Brilliant, impossible light that seemed to push back the void itself. A voice resonated through the chamber, ancient, powerful, speaking in accented English. "I am Thor, son of Odin, protector of Midgard. You who would devour the children of this realm must first face the thunder." The image showed a figure of impossible size striding through space itself, hammer raised against creatures that existed as living shadows. Lightning arced between stars, and where it struck, the Devourers simply ceased. The delegates watched in stunned silence as other figures joined the battle. A many-armed dancer whose every movement rewrote reality around him. A bearded giant, hurling spears of pure light. A falcon-headed warrior leading hosts of the honored dead. Dozens of mythological figures that should have been impossible were carving through the Devourer fleet like children's toys. "Impossible," whispered Brix. "Energy beings of this magnitude. They would need power sources equivalent to entire star systems." Chen smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. "That's exactly what they have. For millennia, billions of humans have believed in these entities, worshipped them, told their stories, feared and loved them. Every prayer, every myth, every tale told around a campfire, all of it channeled into something real. Humanity didn't just create gods through their imagination, They created them through their faith, and that faith made them real. The battle raged across the hologram. Ancient Egyptian gods wielded authority over death itself, commanding fallen devourers to serve them instead. Greek titans reshaped space-time with their bare hands. Hindu deities danced through dimensions the devourers couldn't even perceive, striking from angles that didn't exist. But how? Began Counselor Vexith. Quantum consciousness, Chen explained. Humanity's unique neural architecture allows for what your scientists dismissed as irrational belief. But belief, when shared across billions of minds for thousands of years, becomes a force as real as gravity. Our myths aren't just stories, they're blueprints for entities that exist in the quantum foam between dimensions, powered by the collective unconscious of our entire species. The final devourer ship was falling back, its entropic field failing, as Odin himself appeared, riding an 8-legged steed through the vacuum of space. The Allfather raised his spear, and reality itself seemed to bend around him. The devourers feed on matter and energy, Chen continued. But our gods exist on something deeper, on story, on meaning, on the very concept of hope itself. The devourers can't consume what they can't understand. The transmission ended with Earth safe, surrounded by a pantheon of impossible guardians, who were already pursuing the retreating shadow fleet. The chamber remained silent for long minutes. Finally, Counselor Brick spoke, his voice barely a whisper. What do you want from us? Chen's smile widened. Nothing. This was merely a courtesy call to inform you that humanity will be taking point in the war against the devourers. Our gods are eager for the hunt. She began gathering her materials. Oh, and Counsel, you might want to brush up on human mythology. Some of our gods aren't particularly diplomatic, and they remember who their children's friends are. As she walked toward the exit, Chen paused at the door. Humanity thanks you for your previous consideration. We'll be in touch when the galaxy is safe. The massive doors closed behind her, leaving the Galactic Council in stunned silence, finally understanding that the galaxy's youngest species had just become its most terrifying protector. In the void beyond, ancient gods prepared for war, and the universe itself held its breath.